Welcome everybody to the Paradox. I am SosaFlo, with me is Hurricane Kaz, and we are here to give you this wonderful matchup of the Grand Finals. Miss Kaz, how are you enjoying the Paradox, and how's your week been?
Oh my gosh, it's been incredible watching all of these battles unfold and this amazing tourney that you've put together between all of these incredible battlers. I mean, just looking at these names, I was excited when we did the semifinals on Saturday, and now looking at these names again, I'm just like, man, I am so ready to watch how intense these battles are going to be.
Oh my goodness, all the teams had top tier names, and it's so exciting when you get to see two teams that you've been following since like day one of factions, basically, or shall I say Indigo PvP, because they're both teams that have been playing. I've been seeing since since Indigo. I've had them on great teams, amazing battlers, and now you're starting to see their names pop up on the play Pokemon scene. Most of the SoCal Swablus have been to the top 8 or have gone to these regionals and done really well as top 32, where on the Legends United side, we have world finalists and top tier of NAIC here in this tournament. So this matchup tonight is of top tier battling, and they're bringing very unique Pokemon, as the Paradox provides each team to bring 5 bands, so a total of 10 bands, and then those bands go in and the teams pick 30 unique Pokemon in respects of those bands. Miss Kaz, we've seen some amazing Pokemon so far. What has been one of the highlight Pokemon that you've seen in this tournament?
Oh man, in the last tournament, I really loved the use of Pelipper and Charjabug, like those dynamic opposites on the Pokemon scale, which, like, you know, the Charjabug so hard counters the Pelipper almost. But seeing them both in action in the last one was really amazing. It just goes to show like the versatility that they have. I mean, I think we all get hung up on type effectiveness sometimes, but if you have energy advantage or shield advantage, it can make such a huge difference in these matchups, even ones that you think you know the outcome based on how it looks on paper.
Yeah, and these battlers know their lines and know their Pokemon, and that's what the Paradox format is for, to bring Pokemon that you're familiar with. And these, again, amazing top tier battlers here tonight that we're going to be seeing, and they've provided us with 5 bands each. We're not going to get too in depth because we have analysis from FishOnAHeater on it, but taking a look at the teams real quickly, both of them have very similar 3 bands, but they brought in a couple of extra ones. SoCal has Gligar Frostlass, and Legends United has Registeel and Steelix, and I like the Steelix band. I think Steelix has become real toxic in metas like this, where you know, like, you can have,
I was gonna say, I think the word you're looking for is annoying.
Yeah, real annoying.
Very annoying with breaking swipe in any meta that it's allowed in, honestly. But it is a very good Pokemon because of that neutral damage. So yeah, I think it's a solid ban call from Legends. Yeah,
and these battlers have picked the same 5 bands that they had in the first round, having great success with them. And so we're going to actually now listen to FishOnAHeater, as he's going to break down a little bit of these bands for us and talk a little bit more about these teams.
Hi, I'm FishOnAHeater from Palatown PvP, and we're going to take a look at the bands from SoCal Swablu and Legend United Origins for this Paradox matchup. And when I look at these bands, I basically look at them in 2 chunks, and they are the bands that they have in common and the bands that are unique among them both. And so I want to look at the common ones first. Both teams have decided to ban Medicham, Lantern, and Carbink. And the major thing I want to say about that is look, there's no unawkward way of ending that, so I'm just going to sit back down. I am so sick of seeing Medicham and Lantern in every GBL battle and every play Pokemon team. Like, the stats for Toronto were 83% of teams had Medicham on it, which, that's almost all of them, right? It's just everywhere, and I'm so bored of it. So I'm glad to not see it in this matchup. Same with Lantern, right? Carbink is actually, you know what? I don't think there was ever a time like there was the time where Lantern wasn't good, right? Before they gave it Surf, it wasn't great. Like, it was fun, but it wasn't particularly top meta. I don't think there's ever been a time where Medicham wasn't the best Pokemon. I think it's been the best Pokemon since the birth of PvP. So here's what I want to see. I want to see, in an upcoming season of Go Battle League, I want to see a Great League remix that goes for 3 months and has one ban. And that's Medicham. And I want to see how the meta adjusts to that. In a world where Medicham didn't exist, who's the new king of the meta? I personally think that one of the biggest beneficiaries would actually be Scrafty. Focus on what's in front of us now. The other one is Carbink. The other common one is Carbink, and I think that's a very different one. It's not as common as the other two, but it is so much more damaging. It's the most polarizing Pokemon in PvP at the moment. I consider it to be worse than Bastiodon, purely, again, to bring it back to Medicham. The fact that Bastiodon struggles so much against Medicham, while Carbink beats Medicham, like, that makes it very, very dangerous. And on a personal note, I can't build a play Pokemon team that's not like 5 times a week to it. Like, it can be so good on paper. Like, I'm beating all these other threats. Oh, wait a minute. I get absolutely pulverized by Carbink. It's not fun. So then the unique bans. SoCal Swablu's gone with Gligar and Frostlass. And I think there's an interesting dichotomy between those two. Dichotomy? Is that the right word? I don't even know what that word means. The contrast between the two is interesting, because Gligar, I think, trades on its typing. That's like the biggest thing that makes it good. Like, it's got great moves, but I think its typing is like the thing that catapults it to stardom. Frostlass, the opposite. It's got really nice typing, but I think its main currency is its moveset, which is so dynamic, right? The Gligar is, in my mind, the Gligar's a thing that you've got to treat separately from other flyers. Like, you can be building a team and you can be like, okay, I've got to put something in that beats flyers. But a lot of the things that beat flyers will lose to Gligar. Case in point is the Lantern, right? Mainly your electric types. Registeel is another one. Major anti-flyer, but loses very badly to Gligar. So, for that reason, that makes Gligar a very interesting pick and a very difficult Pokemon to team build around. I did mention Registeel I did mention Registeel, and Registeel I think is another one of those Pokemon where it's a Steel type Pokemon, but it doesn't really have the same matchups as the other Steel types. Like, it doesn't auto lose to a Swampert. It doesn't auto lose to a Medicham like most Steels do. And so, again, Registeel, it's got that same kind of thing about it where it just makes team building so much harder when it's there. So I'm glad to see those two out of the meta as well for those reasons. The Steelix, I don't actually see much of a problem with. I've seen a lot of people online being like, this is a toxic Pokemon. Screw anyone who's running Steelix. But I think it's fine. It doesn't win super hard. It doesn't lose super hard. It's just there. If a player's using it well, then they can do very well with it. Good on them. But yeah, I mean, look, if Legends want to ban it, then that's fine. Like, more power to them. Just don't get it. I think the main story here, we've kind of buried the lead. I'm really interested that Legend United have banned Ho-Oh and Lugia for this battle. Anyway, thanks for having me on, Sosa. Good luck to the two teams.
And we're going to get right into it, Miss Cass, as it's going to be Drayflame versus Arrow and Diggersby on the Clodsire.
Oh my god, the Clodsire comes out immediately, but Diggersby is not what it wants to see. So we do see Arrow make a quick swap to Cresselia, only to be met, unfortunately, by this Umbreon. But as we saw with the Scrafty matchup in our Saturday semifinals, This actually isn't terrible as long as you can get to multiple Moonblasts.
No, yeah, absolutely. Cresselia is so thick, it can actually soak up some energy and maybe even force your opponent to be the first shield to go off. Now with a little extra energy too, get that well. I feel so bad for Clodsire. I'm so excited to talk about it. And the first thing we see, hardballed on Diggersby.
Well, we know it'll be back. We know it'll be back.
Yeah,
now,
it's here.
Unfortunately, this matchup, I mean, Umbreon is quite a bit tankier than Scrafty. So yeah, you do have to land multiple Moonblasts instead of just getting one. So no shields given up in that first matchup. Oh my god, the Claude comes back in to meet the Umbreon after Cresselia leaves, and that animation, I have not seen it yet, and it's absolutely stunning.
Oh, I love the bones coming out of the back. It's so cool. Look at this Umbreon too, rocking Psychic against this poison typing. Now, Clodsire throwing one of the many moves it could have. This is what I'm so excited about. It could be Mega Horn here, take out the Pokemon. It's the Earthquake, which is preferred by a lot of the top tier battlers, as you saw Arrow throw it now, and another Psychic on this Umbreon. Dre might be changing the way we play Umbreon. Says, forget about Last Resort. You might need Psychic now to do a quarter damage on this tanky Clodsire.
Yeah, that actually wasn't as much damage as I thought, but I guess it just goes to show how tanky the Clodsire really is. So when met by that Diggersby, once again, we do see Arrow swap out to the Mantine in the back against the Toxapex. This is a really interesting matchup. Both Pokemon doing really strong neutral damage to one another.
I think that Sludge Wave is going to be the difference for Dre Flames, and we'll have to find out how Arrow's going to play the shield here, because even with the Clodsire in the back, it has Earthquake. Diggersby can take an Earthquake, and Clodsire's attack strength is not very high at all.
Yeah.
So Diggersby's going to survive at least 1 to 2, and yes, this is where I see Arrow investing the shields, protecting the Mantine, that wing attack generating the energy so quickly now, able to get to more charge moves like another wing attack or an Ice Beam.
Yeah, and this is a really safe no shield here from Dre Flames on the Toxapex, because Aerial Ace is the only thing that the Mantine can throw to get damage off, and as you can see, it really doesn't do too much at all. Meanwhile, another shield will have to come up from Arrow to protect the Mantine there, because like you pointed out, it's like the best possible chance they have in the endgame here.
If Dre can't get to the Sludge Wave, that might be trouble for Dre, because it's Aerial Ace, and what is the second move on
I strongly suspect Ice Beam. Like, right? I know we can't see that side of the screen, but Ice Beam would be the second charged attack of choice for an Aerial Ace Mantine. And we do see the first shield finally come up from Dre Flames there as an attempted catch on the Diggersby's first move. But the Clodsire actually wins the charged attack priority event there and is able to throw off the Earthquake, which does go unshielded.
Kaz, I don't think that was charge attack priority, because the Clodsire does not have good attack stat again. As the
then what would you call it?
He didn't tap on anything, as the Scorching Sand's super effective against that poison typing. The last Aerial Ace will get shielded. Dre now going and tasting that Hyper Beam. Let's hear it.
Oh my gosh.
Beam. You can't stop it. There's no debuff. Get beamed, Mantine.
Yeah, and Mantine, as tanky as it is, does not have the health left to withstand that beaming right there. So we do see the first point going to Dre Flames over on SoCal Swablu's side. Really excellent knowledge of his very tanky Pokemon there. I mean, literally a whole team made of tanks. Whereas Arrow, I think, was prioritizing some really strong charged attacks there and just couldn't get it lined up properly in that first match. So as an adjustment, I mean, I think that the Crest Safe Swap, very tanky, very good neutral damage there. I see that staying the same, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see something other than the Mantine come in. I want to say the Lickitung, because it's also tanky and can get some good neutral damage off.
I mean, with the Umbreon there, that's a good matchup against the Lickitung. You don't want to see it as Licky, nor do you want to see the Diggersby again. all those tanks. But I'm here for the Heliolisk. We got two battlers here that bring out 3 incredible spice picks. Not really spice, but play styles. We got Tentacruel, we got Heliolisk, and we got the Shadow Machamp. And people are like, what? Shadow Machamp's not like spicy. I'm like, it kind of is.
It is in today's meta.
When your meta is mostly everything else, because it's real frail and it can't take a hit. As Diggersby is now going to catch that Cresselia. Dre playing that same lead situation, and he did bring the Heliolisk.
Yes, but this is a really nice adjustment from Arrow with the Cresselia in the front, because yes, it does match up against the Diggersby a lot nicer and gets a lot of energy, and an attempted catch on the Umbreon there, probably hoping to catch the Grass Knot. Actually, Arrow maintains his energy and swaps out to the Vigoroth, the other normal type on his lineup, which is probably much better against this Umbreon than Licky, as you were mentioning earlier.
Yeah, especially when it has the counters to actually do effective damage, do some chunk damage, chip away, throw a bulldoze, maybe a body slam. But I didn't take note of this. Cresselia rocking the Confusion. That might take note a little later, because now that's definitely going to sit that Machamp on the bench. Not going to want to see it as the body slam goes through onto that Umbreon, and Dre now loaded with energy, almost 95% of the energy filled up here, throwing the first foul play.
Yes, and when he does need one more Snarl to get to foul play. So if Vigoroth is at the body slam, it will be able to get off first. But no, foul play coming through from Drayflames, which this will take out the Vigoroth if it lands.
Oh, yeah. These battlers are not giving up shields. And this is the mind game, Kaz. This is the game that we all need to know about, that macro play. Do I need to keep the switch, or is the shield more important? And both battlers decide that shield's the more important, as now Cresselia is going to see the Heliolisk. Dre, there's a grass move on this Pokemon. Ooh, as Heliolisk takes that pretty healthily.
Yeah, I mean, Heliolisk, I think, is a little bit tankier than people give it credit for. And Cresselia was able to build up quite a bit of energy, since it did not throw a charged attack in the lead matchup, and was able to actually Confusion down the Umbreon. So it does have quite a lot of energy to rely on, but Heliolisk does get to this breaking swipe, which is going to neutralize the attack on that Cresselia.
Another breaking swipe's gonna come through and double
so
debuff this Cresselia, and Diggersby is gonna sit there, have to take a Grass Knot and make a decision. Oh, immediate swaps as Cresselia now loses the double debuff, and it's now Mantine. Arrow now banking the Grass Knot in the back and hoping that this Diggersby is there in Grass Knot range when it comes back. And
I mean, the Scorching Sands there is a move. I think that Drayflames wanted to try and get that attack debuff that the Scorching Sands can sometimes land, but unfortunately is met by the Ice Beam from Arrow. First of all, going for another Scorching Sands now, really hoping for that debuff, since he's already revealed the Hyper Beam, and Arrow knows that that is not nearly enough of energy to land that beam just yet, but this might be it.
Diggersby is in an uphill battle as Ice Beam was finally exposed. Great job by Arrow holding that information to game 2.
Oh my gosh, and just barely,
ace.
just barely Diggersby survives that aerial ace to land yet another Scorching Sands. Will we finally see another debuff? No, not this time. Still just one attack lowered. But unfortunately, Mantine, with all that energy, along with Cresselia in the backline, means that that game goes to Arrow, evening up the score to 1-1.
That was a great adjustment by Arrow. Same teams, just differently. Oh, no, sorry. Took out Clodsire, brought in the counter user. Dre bringing the same team, though. Maybe he changes up as we see Charizard into Vigoroth, and that's the change-up that Dre wants to see. He loves his Charizard, one of the best Charizard users in the game. We'll find out how he plays. He can get shields out of anybody and just understands what's happening on the Area Zero as the first shield goes on this Body Slam.
So true. Charizard able to grab all the shields, everyone's shields, every day, all day long, but does have to give up shields in return because it is quite a glassy Pokemon. So we do see Drayflames overcharging a bit on energy, farming up a little bit of extra before throwing that Dragon Claw bait, and now has the second one ready after getting that first shield.
Boy, you hate to give it to a Vigoroth, and where does the swap happen? Guys, I never even saw it come through, and Dre had to just take that, build up the energy again, and swap into his Toxapex. Now, this is a great matchup again for Toxapex. Can walk away with at least a good, strong yellow.
Yeah, this is exactly where Toxapex, I think, really wants to be, where it can do the most effective damage here in this game. But that was an incredible catch from Arrow onto the Mantine, which can soak up, which, if anything, can soak up Charizard's charged attacks.
Easy.
It can be Mantine.
Not a problem.
Easy. And so now we see here again this rather neutral matchup with Mantines just stacking aerial aces and Drayflames overcharging before throwing the brine. I'm not even sure this will be enough to knock out the Mantine, but it is a good way to keep a lot of energy on this Toxapex, because I don't think that the Mantine can get to another move. And we do see Clodsire quickly swap in, saving some health and energy on that Mantine potentially for later.
So there's Body Slam Vigoroth, a Ice Beam Mantine in the back. These battlers are holding on to the small bit of energy and getting into their own opponent's heads, as Clodsire is now going to see this Umbreon. Again, we've only seen Earthquake from this Clodsire. It is the Earthquake, which means it's probably Stone Edge or Sludge Bomb that the other move is for Clodsire. Now, if it had the Community Day Mega Horn, right? Completely different matchup. This Umbreon's off the table at this point. But look at what Earthquake's doing right now to this Umbreon. This tanky Pokemon doesn't really need to go that extra mile with a Mega Horn.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Mega Horn would be the more effective move, but honestly, the Clodsire does not really need it. Just being able to stack that Earthquake damage fairly quickly, I think, is going to be the strength in this matchup. As we do see finally the first shield thrown by Arrow to protect that last bit of energy on Clodsire before another quick swap out to throw the Body Slam, a quick combo play from Arrow to get this tanky Umbreon out of the way while we still have one shield on both sides. And finally we see one Pokemon faint. I don't know if you realized, but that hadn't actually happened yet.
Every Pokemon is now in the red as Charizard is growing the red club. Getting into the red. The swing attack did go through. Will it KO the Vigoroth, or will it get one more counter down before it's off the table? No, it does get that counter through. There is a shield left on Arrow. 2 Dragon Claws.
There is
3 Dragon Claws ready to go on Charizard.
Enough shields left for a Charizard with this much energy. We do see the last shield come up from Clodsire. An attempted catch there onto Toxapex so that we didn't have to see another Pokemon faint yet. But unfortunately, the Sludge Bomb finally revealed from that Clodsire over on Arrow's side, and now the Toxapex still has a ton of energy and will be able to throw off a brine. I'm still not sure this is quite enough for Clodsire.
I don't think it is, and Clodsire gets the Earthquake. Are you kidding me?
Amazing. What a tanky beast, able to get to the Sludge Bomb, which is slightly faster than Earthquake and just barely enough to get that Toxapex out of the way. Arrow securing another point for Legends United. Wow.
That was absolutely great. I absolutely had flashes of what the Play Pokemon scene is going to be like in the future with Toxapex and with this Clodsire, those 2 tanky poison types. Obviously, the brine doesn't do anything, and brine did a lot to that tanky Clodsire, where Earthquake just kept spamming, and yet you really do not need Mega Horn at all. It seems like you're in a really strong position with Earthquake and Stone Edge. That Clodsire is really good there.
I don't think Mega Horn really has a strong place in the open meta, but in a more limited format, it might definitely, shine. So I hope you evolve multiple Clodsires, everyone, You might need
Build
them
neutral-
someday.
Yeah, numerous amounts. I
Yeah.
have two. I need the third though, without a mega horn.
Yeah, but we did see some really great adjustments there from Arrow. We did not even see him bring the tanky Cresselia and its confusion damage in that last matchup.
No.
Realizing that his opponent, Dre Flames, was relying very heavily on Umbreon's bulk and bringing in some Pokemon that could very much better, like, neutrally counter that bulk.
I like the idea that Dre bringing the Heliolisk, especially when we saw Tentacruel do so well for Arrow in the first round. We don't really see it in all this next round. He couldn't bring it. He didn't need to bring it. He definitely relied on his tank as well, but it was the usage of his counter that was able to secure him, where all those tank Pokemon, Diggersby, Umbreon, couldn't handle that extra counter damage, and Vigoroth was able to quietly shine and get that chunk down that the tanks really rely on to have that 2 HP in Dreams at the end, and Vigoroth really shined there.
Well, Vigoroth, I mean, it's what makes it such a strong Pokemon, even in open play, is the fact that even if counter is only neutral, or heck, even if it's resisted, the fact that you can use that to get to body slam so quickly will often put you in a very dominant position. I mean, counter was resisted by Charizard, but you see the Vigoroth staying in that matchup because Arrow knows that he can get shields from just the body slam alone.
Charizard unfortunately not strong enough to take a body slam. Neither was Machamp, which is why we didn't see it. But a great game one here between Dre Flames and Arrows. It had everything I wanted it to.
Exactly.
Clodsire.
The appropriate amount of Clodsire, yes.
I got my Heliolisk.
And Heliolisk.
We saw the Dre Flames Charizard play. I mean, he had all of that energy. He tried to make the swap. He was on the counts and everything. Arrow just had that one extra on him. So great job, Arrow, for securing 2-1 for your team. As we're going to now check out the game 2 now. The second game of this matchup. And this is Mystic Mamba versus Valor Ash. And Hurricane Kaz, I don't know if you played Timeless Cup, but we had an LA Mega out in LA, and Valor Ash came out and Mystic Mamba participated, and these teams really give me that Timeless vibes where they got to choose a starter and then they got to pick around it, and ooh, I am loving these teams.
Timeless was one of my favorite Sylph metas when it was introduced, and then when it was reintroduced in factions. Really strong, diverse meta, and a fun idea of like having to have at least one starter Pokemon on your team. But another Pokemon that really felt strong in the Timeless meta is that Pidgeot that I see over there on Valor Ash's team. You know, if I see a bird, I gotta call it out, and it just so happens to be a great one in this meta. We don't know yet what moves exactly this Pokemon has, but I strongly suspect Wing Attack as its fast attack. And Aerial Ace actually has grown a lot as the one of the preferred charged attacks onto Pidgeot, along with the very hard-hitting Brave Bird. So it'll be interesting to see if we see that bird come out. I think it has some targets, but it also does have some big threats over there on Mystic Mamba's side. Both the Bastiodon and the Walrein are things that Pidgeot cannot really deal with and needs a really strong partner.
They also got to worry about Defense Deoxys rocking the Rock Slide and or Thunderbolt at the same time. Altaria, a little bit of energy with Altaria could end up being some damage. Tons of targets for Pidgeot to kind of maybe miss out on playing this matchup. I do want nods on the Venusaur, really liking on both teams there. Gonna absolutely put pressure down for Mystic Mamba against that Jellicent and that Charizard Swampert as well.
Plus and even the Scrafty and the Alola Ninetales. If it's a charm,
not a charm. If it's a charm, then Ninetales is gonna have some issues. But if it's Powder Snow, which it might have to be, to be Powder Snow.
Yeah, in a more limited meta, you know, I am a fan of Powder Snow myself on Alola Ninetales. I think that its ability to get to those charged attacks even quicker makes it a much more versatile and flexible Pokemon. But in limited metas, sometimes charm and a shield really is all you need, isn't it? So it'll be interesting to see some of the attack choices on these Pokemon. I also want to point out the Sableye, my favorite little gremlin over there on Mystic Mamba's side. And I think that, I mean, even to the Scrafty with Return potentially can do a lot of solid neutral damage across that whole team. So I would not be surprised if that's a safe swap option for Mamba.
Well, let's find out as we're going to head down
Yes.
into Area Zero, and check out Valor Ash versus Mystic Mamba. And look at that. Construction Hat Oshawott is here again, making sure that we are in check and everything is ready as Altaria gets into the Jellicent here. And here comes the Dragon Breaths.
Yes, and the Dragon Breaths do stack up quickly against the tanky Water Ghost Pokemon. This is actually a pretty comfortable matchup in most cases for Altaria. We don't know yet if this Jellicent has Ice Beam, but that does seem like a really slim possibility, most Jellicents preferring Surf and Shadow Ball. We did see the first shield come up there to protect the energy on this Jellicent, and we do see a Shadow Ball coming through. So does get a shield in return, and this maintains a very neutral matchup between these two.
Yeah, they're really going at it. Mamba understands the matchup. Altaria's been around forever. Jellicent has been around since Season 3 of GBL. So Mamba understands and knows this matchup. Again, these are two battlers who have been around and have battled against each other for years now. So they know what they're doing. They're playing head games with each other as the Altaria comes out on top. And now it's Swampert meeting the Walrein. And this might be a huge tell that Swampert is not getting out of this, because Walrein with that Shadow Boost with these Icicle Spears are going to put some real hard pressure down on this Swampert. Now, it's not a Shadow Swampert, so that defense drop is not there. But that defense buff on the normal Swampert still isn't going to help it, as Swampert's almost to the red. Great call on the shield by Mamba.
Yeah, exactly. A wonderful shield call there. And we do see another quick swap from Valor Ash into the Scrafty in the back, which is what this, without shields, this Shadow Walrein does not want to see. But this potentially puts that Altaria in a really strong position to get some extra energy onto it to threaten that Swampert.
Altaria defends the Deoxys. Those counters are going to chunk away at that dark typing. I would suggest going in with DD and chunking down, take the hits, and just start spamming off. But I don't know what DD has. Is it Thunderbolt DD?
Yeah, I don't know. Because the Scrafty
in the back.
Yeah, this Scrafty has so much energy now that without shields, defense form Deoxys, even as tanky as it is, doesn't want to stay here longer than it has to. So I think bringing in the Altaria there was a great move from Mystic Mamba to soak some of this energy and get a little bit more damage through. Now this defense form Deoxys only has to take one foul play before it can take out the Scrafty, and the Swampert comes back in. This is still a fairly healthy Swampert.
Not with that Cycle Boost.
Nah, not with that Cycle Boost, though.
Cycle Boost does about 30% of Swampert's health, and that Swampert was about 27% as Defense Deoxys stands alone there. No, that was a great try by Valor Ash to bring the Swampert back out, but the Defense Deoxys on that Scrafty, great call. You called it correctly. The Altaria soaking up that foul play, and he couldn't just throw it immediately. He had to build extra energy there. But Altaria's getting that Dragon Breath and chipping down, made way for the DD. But it's the lead you don't want, as it is Ninetales, and
no matter
Powder Snow.
It is Powder Snow, but no matter what fast move it has, it is the exact thing that Altaria cannot handle. And so we do see a quick swap out there to the Walrein, which does get a little bit of extra energy advantage here, but is quickly met by the Scrafty from Valor Ash. And I wouldn't give up any shields in this matchup. I mean, there's really no turning it around at this point. This Scrafty is going to come out of this matchup with energy. Might have to give up a shield here if you're Valor Ash and you want to protect that attack buff. No, actually lets it go, and the shadow damage bonus there allows Walrein to actually get out come out of this matchup and still has enough energy to throw another Icicle Spear resisted onto this Shadow Alolan Ninetales here. Does actually get a shield from Valor Ash before going down, but now Mystic Mamba has the chance to bring in this Deoxys and soak up some of this damage with this shield advantage, and keep the Altaria safely away.
Walrein doing Walrein things again. We all missed that tanky Walrus in the Timeless Cup. It was a very great spam Pokemon as well. But the Dazzling Gleam with all of the energy. And here comes the Pidgeot. Didn't think it was going to come. Why would you bring it? And it avoids everything. This matchup is in Valor Ash's favor now, as he is going to get 2 shields with the Altaria. But look at this. Going to go straight for that Hurricane.
I mean, Mystic Mamba still has 2 shields, and it's going to need both of them to... oh my god, Valor Ash is insane. Goes straight for the Brave Bird so that this Altaria cannot get nearly as much farm as it hopes, and pinning this Altaria against a still quite healthy Alolan Ninetales. I don't think there's any way it can get to the three Sky attacks that it actually needs to win this matchup. So unfortunately, the Defense Force Deoxys comes in but does not have the health or the energy to take out that Shadow Alolan Ninetales. Oh my gosh, meaning Mystic Mamba loses that one with both shields still in play. It's unfortunate, and it does happen more often than you think.
Is this how Legends is going to win, with their opponents just never bringing shields? We saw this on Saturday too. Muddy Water had like 6 shields.
He's saving those shields for later. He's saving those shields for later.
And so here, the Defense Deoxys into the Scrafty now, and the Scrafty gets out immediately, and in comes the Pidgeot. Now look, we had not revealed the second move, whether it's Rock Slide or Thunderbolt, and it's going to show now with Rock Slide. Both battlers are aware of the counts.
I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see a shield here, thinking that it's a Psycho Cut or a Psycho Boost and Dip, but no, the Rock Slide does get shielded by Valor Ash there, and Defense Form Deoxys actually staying in this matchup a surprisingly long time, trying to get off another Rock Slide, but will be met again by the Brave Bird immediately. Valor Ash does not mess around with his Pidgeot at all. He says, why bait when I can get all the damage I need? Oh my gosh.
Now you're down 2 shields, Mr. Ash. You are debuffed. Your Pidgeot is going to throw maybe another Brave Bird. Mamba, shield something, please. Oh my goodness. Great call, though. Finally, it is not the attack. But look at Mamba's got debuff now, as Sableye had the Feather Dance debuff its attack harshly by 2. And now the Sableye's Foul Play will still KO that Pidgeot, as
that Pidgeot threw 2 Brave Birds. That Pidgeot threw 2 Brave Birds. So while the attack was debuffed on the Sableye, the defense was way more debuffed on that Pidgeot. So while Valor Ash gave up both shields there to protect that bird, it puts Mystic Mamba and this Sableye in a very strong position for the rest of this matchup.
Yeah, it's such a strong position, but Return doesn't do as much as it's supposed to.
But if you see, there's a Venusaur waiting in the back for Mystic Mamba. So getting that bird out of the way means that Venusaur and the 2 shields are in a very good position. Even if there is still that Shadow Alolan Ninetales lurking back there for Valor Ash.
We don't know what Valor Ash is actually rocking. Hoping that it's not the Ninetales. We'll have to find out. But I mean, Venusaur with a Sludge Bomb. There you go. Oh my god, he's going to throw.
finally.
The last Pokemon's exposed. Oh, it's a baited power-up punch too.
Gosh, it hurts to see, and we do see the Shadow Alolan Ninetales finally come out from Valor Ash, but now still with a shield in play, Mystic Mamba can start unloading some of this extra energy. 1 Sludge Bomb is enough to do it. Oh, just barely not enough to do it, but 1 Vine Whip added on gets that Shadow Alolan oh my god, I almost said Vulpix. Ninetales out of the way so that Venusaur can fast attack down that Scrafty. Absolutely beautiful play to make up for game 2 in that game 3 for Mystic Mamba.
They did a great job there playing around the matchup. We never saw Bastiodon. Pidgeot still felt comfortable. I did not think Pidgeot was coming at all. With everything having a move against Pidgeot, and yet Pidgeot won game 2. Without that Brave Bird, game 2 is lost. There are 2 shields. You got a healthy Altaria. Without that, game 2 is lost. That Brave Bird was so smart. Valor Ash being one of the original Elite 4 back in the day, like, shows us why he was on that lineup and why he's a part of this team, as he still gets a point for his team. But Mamba gets 2 back for the Swablus. Loving that Walrein and that Altaria too.
Yeah, exactly. Showing that Altaria still has a lot of really strong play. I mean, Dragon Breath alone as a fast attack just does so much good neutral damage as long as you can keep it away from the icy fairies. You know, and finally bringing out that Sableye, which really came in clutch in that last matchup, especially when, you know, as I pointed out, that Pidgeot had already been so debuffed.
We get it. The Pidgeot was debuffed. We understand. No one's harshing on the Pidgeot. It played so well. And
I gotta talk about it.
I know. It was so good.
But the fact that Valor Ash,
really well.
Yeah, it really did. The fact that Valor Ash just went straight for the Brave Bird, it's kind of what you least expect in the early game, right? So it was a really smart call from Valor Ash, thinking like, you know what, they're probably not going to shield, so why not?
Well, it's Mamba with a 2-1 that ties up the point system now, as we're going to get into battle 3. And I'm excited about every single one. So again, I'm really excited about this one because it's Quasar Sucks versus Valiant Fish. Oh my goodness.
And we see another Claude on the lineup for Quasar Sucks. I'm so excited. But there's my favorite. But there's my favorite Bug Bus over on Valiant Fish's side. And beep, Bug beep. Bus, as we all know, goes beep beep.
Beep beep. As Quasar Sucks is rocking the Chestnut, the Vulture, Mandibuzz, Clodsire, Jellicent, the G-Fisk, and that Shadow Alolan Ninetales that we just saw on Legend side.
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, the Clodsire and the Galarian Stunfisk there from Quasar Sucks both counter the Charge Bug so well. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see it in the first matchup. Depending on what, you know, Valiant Fish sees from Quasar Sucks, maybe it comes in the end. But I mean, that Clodsire actually looking really good against most of Valiant Fish's team there.
Yeah, it's looking really good against most of the Valiant Fish's team. Yeah. Depending on the moveset. You got to go Earthquake, Stone Edge, I believe would be the great moveset there. I mean, Earthquake for sure. Sludge Bomb or Stone Edge, I think both have really good neutral play for the Clodsire there. And that's one of the great things about this Pokemon. I mean, despite all the, you know, the fuss when its moveset was finally revealed, I still think it's a very strong Pokemon, and it definitely is going to bring a lot to Quasar Sucks if he chooses to bring it. But as you pointed out, that Primeape over on Valiant Fish's side has a lot of neutral damage potential as well. Now, it could be Primeape with Cross Chop, Ice Punch, Night Slash, or
Close Combat.
Close Combat. There it is. I was like, I know I'm missing one. Close Combat. But here's the thing. With the Primeape, we could see the Jellicent take a backseat in game 1 and come out in game 2. We don't know how they're going to play. I'm more curious as to see if they're going to bring Snarl on their Mandibuzz or Wing Attack on their Mandibuzz, because Wing Attack for Quasar would get him in a better position against that grass typing and that ground typing, but also win the neutral matchup, where Snarl, I feel, will be better against that ghost typing for Valiant Fish against that Jellicent. We'll have to find out.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in Snarl in most cases, just because even though it doesn't put on the actual like damage pressure, it just gets you to those moves so much faster, especially now since the preferred moveset is usually Aerial Ace Dark Pulse. being able to get to the Dark Pulse, that higher, a slightly more damage move, just a little bit faster, can often make the difference in matchups. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see both of these Mandibuzz on Snarl, but certainly with the Chestnut over there on Quasisux, having an Aerial Ace for Valiant, or having the Air Slash for the Chestnut would certainly put it into a way more dominant position.
Yeah, we're gonna find out right now which Mandibuzz is going to be rocking the Air Slash. I'm sure you're right. They're both going to probably rock Snarl, as they are both energy efficient battlers. It is 3-3. SoCal Swablu is tied it up. Can they get the lead at the end of this matchup, or will Valiant Fish get the foot on the pedal and start driving Legends Origins to victory?
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's all tied up and we're 2 battles in, and we do see a really terrible matchup for Valiant Fish here in the lead. Actually rocking the Air Slash on that Mandibuzz against Superior means it's an even worse matchup. Valiant Fish swaps out immediately to the Wall Rain, only to be met by the Jellicent over there from Quasisux. I mean, this is a matchup that's definitely in Jellicent's favor, since it can quickly get to these Shadow Balls, and all the moves from the Wall Rain here are resisted.
Yeah, Quasisux doing the counts, making sure to get it on the specific Earthquake count, see if his opponent's going to go ham, and he does. Throws the Earthquake nuke move. Can he get the Shadow Ball off before the next Earthquake goes through?
Oh,
not even tapping for it either. That's interesting. He's going to because Jellicent is so tanky though, right?
Yeah, the Jellicent is so tanky. I mean, it can take that move quite healthily and get extra energy on the back end by over tapping a little bit there before throwing. I mean, the Wall Rain is equally tanky, just barely surviving here, so that the Jellicent actually does have to throw the Surf here to ensure that this matchup is won in the mid game.
Did you see tapping for the Shadow Ball and then immediate realizing how low that Wall Rain was and just going for it, and tried to get that last Surf off and couldn't before Superior grabs the farm. And now it's Charm Ninetales on Quasisux time onto this Quagsire. The Clodsire isn't going to see the Quagsire. The Quagsire, however, is going to throw the Mud Bomb. And this boosted new Adventures Abound Mud Bomb is putting that extra work for Quag.
Yeah, and I mean, with the counts there, if you're Quasisux, you can survive 1 Mud Bomb, but you do have to throw up the shield here. And we do see this is actually a Community Day Quagsire rocking both Aqua Tail and Mud Bomb. So these charge almost at the same rate with that Mud Shot fast attack from Quagsire. So throwing up that last shield means that a few more charms can get through, but Quag is so spammy that it gets to the next move almost immediately afterwards. And I mean, no shields left in play. With Aqua Tail and Mud Bomb now revealed, this Mandibuzz is in a really safe position for the end game.
Goodness, with Quasisux must be exhaling so hard after he saw the Aqua Tail go through. He's like, oh, thank God. Because a Quagsire with a Stone Edge would have one-shot this Mandibuzz back to existence. Now Mandibuzz is going to build up for the double Aerial Ace and unleash all of this onto Valiant Fish's Superior.
Yeah, exactly. And with the Air Slash fast attack here, you can see that there's already quite a bit of damage stacked up against that Grass Snake. I don't think 1 Aerial Ace is actually enough here, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do see, no extra farming, just gonna immediately throw the next one. I mean, I guess if you are Quasisux, you know that Quagsire is basically, with Aqua Tail and Mud Bomb, is basically dead in the water against a Mandibuzz. I
mean, and the health rate there too, it already threw some energy.
Yeah.
Yes. Quasisux.
And that matchup, now that he knows Valiant Fish's Shadow Quagsire does not have Stone Edge, that makes so many of his Pokemon so much safer. Ninetales, Mandibuzz, Jellicent, all of them much safer on the field against Quagsire. And yet we see it in the lead here. And a quick swap out to the Charm Ninetales here. A really interesting play from Quasisux. I think maybe they are thinking that Serperior is lurking in the back.
Yeah, just trying to get it out. But Mandibuzz gonna be taken out, just kind of staying in the back with the wing attack. Feels really good. Don't know where the Walrein or the Charger Bug is. If it's out there, we'll find out. But the Charmtails is putting down the pressure. I think an Aqua Tail here, and then Charmtails will be loaded up. No, Quasa's going to give and invest both shields onto the swapped-in Charmtails over the lead. And you're right, there is the Serperior. Can he get to the Weather Ball in time? No. Is this the Frenzy Plant that will take out the Ninetales? Or will the Frenzy Plant...
I do believe that is the Frenzy Plant. And I mean, with no shields left in play for Quasasucks, I mean, this is the position they wanted Mandibuzz in. So I think ultimately this is falling in line with the plan they made at the beginning of the game, seeing that lead.
Yeah, and not for nothing, Kaz, there is a G-Fisk in the back. And if you look at what else is there, unless it is the Primate, which doesn't look like Valiant Fish would want to bring.
No, it's the Quagsire.
It's the no. There's still a third Pokemon.
There still is there. Oh my gosh!
Third Pokemon yet. So unless it's the Primeape, right? This Mandibuzz is gonna have a heyday and open up so much for that G-Fisk in the back for Quasasucks.
Yeah, interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a quick swap out to it just to get the Quagsire like out in the open. We do see that it's a Walrein coming in from Valiant Vish's side, and we see a quick swap to that Galarian Sunfisk, and now the Quagsire does come back in, is immediately met by a Rock Throw, which I think this will be enough for the Chatot Quagsire here if it does not get the last shield.
That is so tough when you're Shadow Quagsire and you come out to the field only to be met with a charge move. Luckily, there was a shield left on Vish. He's not giving up on this Quagsire. In comes the super effective Mud Bomb. Can he get to the Rock Slide before the next Mud Bomb?
Oh my
Valiant Fish with the sliver of second. The Mud Shot able to give the turn into the Quagsire as the Aqua Tail takes out this G-Fisk. But don't fear, Kaz, because Mandibuzz has the energy.
Yeah, Mandibuzz has a lot of energy, but that's almost a full health Walrein that Valiant Fish has back there. And I mean, even this Aqua Tail knocks quite a bit of health off of the Mandibuzz here. And it might be able to get to 2 Dark Pulses, but I'm not sure that it's going to be enough.
I don't think it's going to be able to get the 2 Dark Pulses as the the Icicle Spear, my mistake, the Community Icicle Spear is going to go off of this Mandibuzz, for this Walrein and take out this Mandibuzz.
I thought that Mandibuzz had a little bit more energy than it did. Unfortunately, the best laid plan going astray there for Quasasucks. I mean, it was a good thought, right? To try and get that Mandibuzz in that position where it could overfarm on the Serperior. But unfortunately, Valiant Fish brought 2 very good answers in the back for that Galarian Stunfisk that Quasasucks waited on. And now we do see Valiant Fish bring in the Charger Bug to counter the Mandibuzz.
Yes, it is here. Charger Bug with the Volt Switch, and Ninetales Shadow gonna charm away, taking out more than half that health and get to the Weather Ball. Now, we didn't see the swap in the Mantine. Maybe this is a catch. Maybe this isn't. We'll find out. It is not a catch, and it is a shield given to the Charger Bug. Charger Bug now built so much Volt Switch energy. I mean, Ninetales is going to have to take a hit or give up maybe 2 shields here before Charger Bug leaves.
Because I do think that there's 2 discharges. Yes, 2 discharges ready from this bug. And at this health range, it might be enough to knock out this Alolan Ninetales. So we do see both shields given up early again from Quasasucks before leaving with some health left on that Charger Bug to bring in the very spammy Shadow Quagsire from Valiant Fish. And now this Charmtail still does have a move ready, getting the last shield now from Valiant Fish as well before the Quagsire throws a move to get this Ninetales finally off the field.
There is a Jellicent in for Quasa. He doesn't want to see that Charger Bug.
That Charger Bug was the last thing
Charger Bug is going to be kicking himself that they didn't shield and get it out a lot sooner because it's in the red, and that might be effective as a Aqua Tail is going to come through, and Mandibuzz now is going to feel really good to farm up, maybe get one more extra tap before another move. Nah. All right, then we're probably going to get the 2 aerial aces and throw before Valiant Fish's Quagsire can get to another Aqua Tail.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see 2 aerial aces before, and we do see a maybe perhaps an attempted catch on the Charger Bug. We do get 1 aerial ace coming up from Quasasucks, which will be enough to take out the bug. No shields left in play for anybody. So, I mean, taking some of the extra energy off of this Mandibuzz, I think was a good call there from Valiant Fish.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to think about, like, what could be in the back. If it's Superior, this Jellicent is in trouble. But it is Walrein revealed in the back. And now Quasasucks can feel like they can exhale as Jellicent can now come onto the field, soak up the energy. And this Walrein is locked in from earlier from the Jellicent switch and lock. And now that Jellicent's revealed, I wonder if Valiant Fish is just like, oh, no. Must be kicking himself. That's a hard one. You know, when you play it so well, but you know, and your matchup is so good, but the back line is just a great call by their opponent.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think they did the best play they could there, trying to soak some energy from Mandibuzz onto that Charger Bug. But unfortunately, Charger Bug was the only thing between them and the entire backline for Quasasucks. So this Shadow Quagsire still has a decent amount of health, a decent amount of energy, able to almost get rid of this Jellicent. But no, Jellicent survives, which is a couple HP, throws a Surf to get the Quagsire off of the field. With the Mandibuzz actually still in play there in the back for Quasasucks. So a real back and forth between all of our opponents so far. Every single one of them showing their strength at changing their lineups, reading their opponents, and trying to play to what they think might be in the back. I know that that's something that I'm always trying to work on, is like, well, if they swap that in there, that means this is probably in the back. And both players there, both Quasasucks and Valiant Fish, showing how well they have mastered that skill.
Yeah, they definitely are great team readers, as Quasa has showed us that. And Valiant Fish, I don't know what he was reading, keeping the Charger Bug in that game 3, but the game 2 play, so smart. We did not see his Mandibuzz come out once. We saw Walrein, Superior, Quagsire, and Charger Bug. Those 3 Pokemon very dominant. Again, great job by Quasa to call the no Superior on game 3 there. That was a key play there as well. Unfortunately, we didn't see the Clodsire on there, and
a tragedy.
Would have been nice, but Wing Attack, I'm telling you, Air Slash Mandibuzz can get you some matchups that you won't even expect it'll get you.
It's true. The extra fast attack damage is really nice, as we saw in that matchup. I still am in favor of getting to my charge attacks a little faster, but you know, to each their own.
To each their own, right? This is why we battle here in the Paradox, because battlers are showing us their playstyle, as the so-called Swablu's playstyle has gotten them 5 points, but they are not running away with it at all. It has been neck and neck, as the Legends United Origins have 4 points. So we're going to get into the 4th matchup now, and that is going to be Flying Pizza versus Jangles. And
oh my gosh. Jay Engels, again, bringing the same team that he brought from the semifinals. And so I have to call out again that he absolutely knew how to play that Pelipper against his opponent in those semifinal matchups. And I can only imagine that we're going to see that Pelipper again, because there is no electric type to threaten it over on Flying Pizza's team. We do have the Dugong, which does pretty strong neutral damage. We have the Quagsire here from Flying Pizza that could have that Stone Edge. But I mean, the Pelipper can live one of those. Can live one. Doesn't love it, but can. So I definitely think Jay Engels is going to be relying heavily on that Pelipper again, as it looks so dominant in these matchups.
Yeah, the Cresselia is so, again, we've got a lot of tank on one team and a lot of fast attack pressure on another. That G-Fist by Jangles in last matchup, in the last game that they all played, was so strong, and Whimsicott showed out so well. I'm excited to see it because Whimsicott does have play here. If that Quagsire is Stone Edge, because that Stone Edge is going to do some good pressure on that Pelipper and that Dragonair and that Ninetales. So it might have to see that Quagsire might be forced to play. So we'll have to see if that Whimsicott is going to play, because it is such a great Pokemon. The Fairy Wind, you got the Grass Knot and the Moonblast. Like, oh my goodness.
It's definitely a nice core breaker for sure. And I definitely wouldn't be surprised if we do see Flying Pizza relying a little bit on Cresselia's bulk to help counter some of these very high pressure attackers that Jay Engels has brought. But I loved his team last time, so I'm really excited to see how he plays it this time when his opponent doesn't have like half of the same picks.
Right. It's always hard when you have a mirror matchup. You're like, well, I play this differently, and they play that, and you know. But we're gonna get into it. It is Battle 4 now, so let's go into it. It's 5-4.
So close.
Yes. Oh my goodness, they make it so good. It's fun. We're here for these grand finals, and it is, oh my god, it's costume Ninetales.
Oh my god, it's a costume Shadow Kanto Ninetales. A really impressive find there, revealed by Jay Engels. And it is rocking Ember as a fast attack as well, which is a really nice addition to Ninetales' move pool. Only minimally accessible. I think it's only Elite TM at this point. But a really strong play there to start out with from Jay Engels, as this Ninetales is stacking a lot of energy before throwing the first attack over onto this Lickitung. I mean, Lickitung is tanky, but you can see that Jay Engels went straight for the overheat there before getting the first shield from a Lickitung, everyone. The first shield from a Lickitung. And before bringing in that Pelipper safe swap, and Lickitung does have a body slam ready, but Pelipper can't actually healthily tank that one.
Yeah, Pelipper down to the half health now. You're so excited about it, but now you're excited. What is this matchup, Kaz? Of course you throw me the bird matchup. I'm like, oh, Kaz is just going to roll with this bird matchup now. Jangle's throwing nothing but and Flying Pizza is calling it all night.
I'm a little biased, so I feel like maybe some recusal might be necessary on my part.
I'll take the reins here. As we're going to see an undercharge by Flying Pizza. This rookie joined the scene in the Sylph Season 5, made a name for himself. You get the debuff there on the attack, Harshly Fall, and can he get it before the next Weather Ball? He is so smart. That under tap was perfect. He has an Aerial Ace or a Feather Dance ready to go on his Pidgeot. The Lickitung is healthy. There are 2 shields left on Jangles, and it is a Dragonair.
Yes, I mean, this is a great call to have 2 shields and a very strong attacker in your back line, because even though you're throwing the Feather Dance here, Jangle still has that Ninetales, which he can use to get these debuffs off if he so chooses. The timer is back up now, so I wouldn't be surprised if that is the play, but we do see this Dragonair absolutely overloading on energy against the Pidgeot and only having to give up 1 shield there. So we do see the quick swap out there back to the Ninetales to soak, I would imagine, soak this body slam so that the Dragonair can come back in with a shield. No, actually the Ninetales has so much energy left over. We do see it giving up the last shield for Jay Engels here before throwing the charge move. I mean, this is a Shadow Kanto Ninetales. I have to imagine even this Weather Ball is going to get the Lickitung of all things very close.
Yeah, it's almost close. I like this swap to try to snipe it. It's going to be another Weather Ball. Ember generates way too slowly, so that we know it's not going to be an overheat. The Weather Ball will do the damage, and this is great because unlike the confusion of Arrow, the Psycho Cut, which is recommended, will get this Cresselia closer to the Grass Knot or the recommended Moonblast. But that's if Cresselia has Moonblast tapping away at the future
think that's
sight.
Actually a future sight Cresselia we do see here. And
that's
with
trouble.
with that Psycho Cut is able to get there much faster, and this Dragonair no longer has any shields to hide behind. So takes that move and gets wiped off the field. I mean, it was a great idea from Jay Ingles to save both those shields for the Shadow Dragonair in the end, but unfortunately, a tanky Cresselia waiting in the back is the last thing you want to see.
And Flying Pizza played that perfectly. He got the setup. He weakened the Pelipper, then brought back in the Flyer as well. And now it is Lickitung onto the Dragonair. The body.
He's like, all right, if it doesn't work in the back, if it doesn't work in the back, then I'm gonna throw it out into the front to get as much damage as possible knocked off of these tanky Pokemon that my opponent is relying on. A great adjustment there, I think, from Jay Ingles.
One turn fast move. I'm here for it. I can match you one turn for one turn. Let's do this. But the thing is that this Lickitung is thicker than this Dragonair, as a shield is going to be given up by Jangles. Will he go for the second body slam? And nobody makes the catch. Flying Pizza. Did you just make the
Absolutely catch? Playing out of their mind here, catching a body slam onto Cresselia. And saving some energy, some health on that Lickitung, which is never a bad idea to have in your backline. No. So we do see the Cresselia now has been swapped in for Flying Pizza, and we do see the Shadow Kanto Ninetales come back out from Jay Ingles. And actually that Shadow Kanto Ninetales takes that Future Sight quite well. I was not expecting that. How about you?
There is nothing that Jangles has that upsets Cresselia. So why not go for the Future Sight? Now that Ninetales absolutely took that Future Sight like a champ, right? We just saw it nuke, out of the water. But the Grass Knot actually takes out the Ninetales. That's what I'm more impressed by, as we see Defense Deoxys power down and counter away that Cresselia, getting 2 extra taps. Close to a Rock Slide Thunderbolt, and look at that great adjustment by Jangles, bringing the Defense Deoxys against this Pidgeot, those counters against that normal typing, doing good extra chip damage that he needs, especially if he's in this shield situation, because what is Pidgeot gonna do? Just small damage with debuff this Defense Deoxys, or debuff itself? And there it is, the debuff of itself.
Yeah, we do see, very similar to how Valor Ash played his Pidgeot in our earlier matchup, we do see the Brave Bird actually gone after there by Flying Pizza, and it does land for so much damage onto that Deoxys, and now forced to bring in the Dragonair to take out the remaining health on that Lickitung. And unfortunately, this Dragonair is going to be farmed almost all the way down. But will we see the last shield here from the Pidgeot? Yes, we do see a last shield given up to protect the massive amounts of energy. Jay Ingles has the shield advantage here, but does he have the energy to get to the incredibly necessary Thunderbolt? Or maybe even at this health range, the Psycho Boost, I do believe, would be enough. But after that attack debuff, no! Oh no! Just not able to get to that charge attack fast enough, especially with the debuff landing from that Feather Dance. Oh my gosh, Flying Pizza, once again, playing out of their mind.
Wing attack, OP. Flying Pizza showing us how it's done. Didn't even need the third Pokemon to come back out to take out the Defense Deoxys. Just wing attacked it down, had the Feather Dance, got the 2 of them, as G-Fisk is now going to meet Pidgeot. And there it is. Jay was like, I'm done with this Pidgeot, man.
I'm done with this bird. Get it out of here.
Look, and I don't know how many times we've seen Pidgeot up against teams where you're like, really? You're going to put Pidgeot against this team? And it is succeeding.
I'm telling you.
I'm telling
you, it is the best bird that we currently have available since the Sky Attack nerf. And we do see this Galarian Stunfisk staying in for quite a long time against the Lickitung swap in from Flying Pizza. Getting the first shield, actually. I mean, for a Lickitung, the Flying Pizza really wants to protect it a lot. But we do see Defense Form Deoxys finally swap in from Jay Ingles. But now this Lickitung is absolutely loaded on energy.
Look, so is that G-Fisk, and it is ready. I think there's 3 Rock Slides ready for this.
Yeah,
Pidgeot. Jangles is so
all of
over
the rock
this
slides in the
Pidgeot.
world. Yeah.
Right, look, here comes a Thunderbolt. Like, everything is anti-Pidgeot in this matchup. I'm pretty sure I'm going to call Whimsicott in the back. Could very well be just with that Moonblast because it hates Pidgeot. As another Body Slam is going to come to the Defenseoxys, dropping it to the red. Now, no shield is why it's actually close to maybe losing, but here comes that Psycho Boost as it needs to get this Lickitung out and win the advantage in order for Jangles to keep his matchup together.
Yeah, exactly. And he still has 2 shields in play. That was very good timing there by Jangles, throwing the Psycho Boost just before that Lickitung could get to the next Body Slam and getting the Defense Form Deoxys low enough on health that this Pidgeot cannot overfarm, as we saw Flying Pizza do so successfully in other matchups. And so we do see the Stun Fist come back out from Jangles before Cresselia is revealed as the final Pokemon for Flying Pizza. And now Cresselia met by this Dragonair. I mean, without Moonblast, this is actually a little bit of a tougher matchup for the Cresselia. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see the first shield come up, though, from Jangles here. Finally. Yes.
I was just about to say that Moonblast would have been a little less energy, which you could get to faster with these Psycho Cuts, but throwing that Future Sight, getting the shield might be costing Flying Pizza here, as maybe going for that bait would have gotten the shield and get you to another Future Sight, maybe even get this to land, because all he's got to do is shield this Dragonair, and there's, girl, so much energy on that G-Fisk that... Like
even this very healthy Pidgeot really has nowhere else to run, despite the fact that Jangles now has given up both shields. We do see a quick no shield there from Flying Pizza because, I mean, I think they have to realize that no matter what they do to this dragon, there is still a quite healthy Galarian Stunfisk waiting in the back for this bird.
Oh no, he's got a double Brave Bird himself in order to win. Can Flying Pizza do it? There's one Pokemon. Okay, there's one energy. Okay, half the health on this G-Fisk. Is it?
I don't think Brave Bird.
I don't
think even a Brave Bird at this level is enough to get rid of the Galarian Stunfisk. But we are on the edge of our seats waiting. Oh my God.
Oh!
Just barely not. And then the Galarian Stunfisk has yet another rock slide waiting. And without any debuffs in play on this pile, this little trap, we do see a pile of rocks finally land on my favorite bird and get it off the field, securing another point for Legends in the last match.
Hi,
Look, there we go. Just see Fish's face. No, a great play all around by Flying Pizza, utilizing that Cresselia so strongly as his safest closer, opener, you name it. He put it out there. He knew what it was there for. There was nothing that was threatening it, so he could use it, and that actually gave way for this Pidgeot to just terrorize Jangles' entire lineup. It was so well.
I mean, sometimes it takes 2 before you're like, all right, fine. If these are the 3 Pokemon that you're relying on, then I'm going to bring the exact thing that I need to. And there's nothing you can do about it because, as we saw, even the Brave Bird in the end game there was not quite enough to take out the very bulky Galarian Stunfisk, which does resist those flying moves.
It was a great time. Again, the first matchup, or the second battle with the Galarian Stunfisk against the Cresselia or the Lickitung, getting that damage done to it sooner. But now that it matched up with the Pidgeot, it was here. It was able to put down the necessary pressure that it's supposed to do. And we've seen all of the steals banned at the beginning. You got Steelix, Bastiodon.
That's the other reason.
Banned, and G-Fisk is sitting here beautifully able to play out well. Unfortunately, Flying Pizza just knows how to play his Pidgeot. I mean, he's like steel typing. I don't get my bird out there. It's fine. We're good.
Yeah. He's like, whatever. Who cares? Pidgeot still has answers because, as we see, I mean, it still is able to do quite a bit of damage to that Galarian Stunfisk with the Brave Bird. It's just, it has to have the energy advantage. It has to have the shield advantage. Any advantage the bird can get against steel Pokemon does put it in a much stronger position.
Excellent. Well, that's great to know. We're all learning more about Pidgeot here at the Paradox. And it's
here to
not
help.
even in Paldea. It's not even in the region of Paldea. And it's shining so bright here in this Area 0 Paradox tournament. And it's 7-5 now. There are 2 points ahead. Swablu taking the lead over here on Legends. But the Legends aren't out. Because Kaz, you know who's coming up for the Legends?
Oh my god.
Numero uno. Elite Four, like Snag, House Stark, the captain of the team. He's not going to let it go down so easily. He's here to fight it out. He is absolutely amazing. He's rocking the Toxicroak, the Azumarill, the Bastiodon, the Unova Fisk, the Sableye, and the Dragon Knight Shadow version.
We are going to see... I would not be surprised if we see an Azu face-off here, because Azumarill looks so strong for both players here. They have so many good counters. I mean, there is a Charge-a-Bug over on Dodger22 fan side, but I mean, Azu can still put a very good, decent amount of neutral damage down with Play Rough if it does have that energy advantage. And it has so many other targets. If it's rocking Ice Beam, it can threaten that Trevenant. And meanwhile, Dodger22's fan Azumarill has like the target of the Bastiodon. It can even hurt the Unovan Stunfisk there. So almost misspoke. And it certainly can put a lot of damage on that Sableye and that Shadow Dragonite over on House Stark side.
With the option of putting Hydro Pump down on Dodger fan there could actually be a lot better for Dodger fan in the every other matchup except the mirror matchup. So we'll have to see how they're going to play it out. But they do have that Poliwrath as well that gives them access to that Scald, which does great against almost everything on House Stark's team. I do like seeing that Slash, and I do like seeing that Trevenant, because that Shadow Claw is one of my favorite generating moves right there. Be able to build up and be able to spam off and do damage.
Yeah, and I also really like the Trevenant actually for Dodgers fan as well. I mean, it does have to fear the Sableye, but can put on so much good neutral damage to everything else.
Yeah, I mean, we've got some great battlers. Bringing two normal, like the same Azu. We don't like Azu, but you've got this Gliscor in place of Gligar, which is almost basically the same. And you've got Unova Fisk, which is almost the same as G-Fisk, only it doesn't hit the flyers as hard. Gligar doesn't need that flyer damage, though. So Unova Fisk looks really strong here for it. Granted, you don't see I mean, depending on if it's going to be Powder Snow or Shadow Claw on that Slash. Unova Fisk could actually play a lot better in this matchup for House Stark than Gligar could.
Yeah, and it's interesting that we just saw the Shadow Dragonair from Jay Engels, and now we have the Shadow Dragonite lurking from House Stark. So maybe that and 2 shields is a play that these 2 teammates share, but I'm excited to find out about all these movesets and how this is all going to finish, because it is coming down to the wire here.
It is the last matchup of the night. The Paradox is ready. Area 0 is open. It's House Stark versus Dodger fan, and we are gonna see Azumarill Azumarill.
I summoned this into existence.
So much, Kaz, for all this Azumarill on Azumarill action.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, but this is actually not, like, this is one of the less painful mirror matchups, if we're being honest. So, you know, I'm sorry, not sorry, as we do see House Stark getting to the first play rough here against their opponent. And I mean, that doesn't do an insignificant amount of damage. Azumarill is tanky, but I mean, play rough is not resisted by these fellow fairy types.
No, they aren't. They're going to do the damage. It's what you want in these mirror matchups. You want that play rough. Hydro Pump doesn't do enough, and you can't get to it fast enough. Play rough is 6-7 taps. You get to it, your bubbles. You know the matchup. You can play around it with your energy later. The Azumarill, one of the original meta line Pokemon of GBL. We've seen it so many times. We'll have to see how they save their energy and play it out down the line. I still, even though I don't see Ice Beam, I still think Hydro Pump could very well be on Dodger fans' team.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't actually seen the second move revealed from either one of these Pokemon, but what we do see is what is in the back for House Stark, and we do see that Toxicroak and Sableye backline. I mean, this feels like what Season 1, Season 2 of GBL was a very strong lineup then, and it's still strong now, as we do see the final play rough from the 1 HP Azumarill over on Dodger fans' side, getting Shadow Clawed away, and is met by that Gliscor, which has a very strong array of charged attacks here that could come in useful against the Sableye. But with 1 extra Shadow Claw of energy, this Sableye is already loaded against this incoming Pokemon.
That alignment was so huge, living with 1 HP in a dream, putting out that Azumarill, being able to meet the Sableye, because if it is a Trevenant in the back, Dodger fans gonna feel really good about that. But if it is not, it might be real dangerous. We'll have to see as the Sableye's foul play comes off again on Gliscor. Now, House Stark still has 2 shields on this Sableye. Will he use it? He's been playing with Sableye for so long now. He knows what he's doing. He's gonna give up that shield for the first aerial ace, and there you go right there, the first shield, and gets the second aerial ace here from Dodgers 22. Will he shield this one, Kaz? I mean, you got it, right?
I think he definitely wants to protect alignment here, not knowing what's in the back, and strongly suspecting, as you called out, that it might be that Trevenant lurking. He does give up the last shield to be able to try and land that foul play, but does get the last shield in return from Dodgers fan. But unfortunately, with no shields left in play, this Trevenant will be able to land a Shadow Ball against this Toxicroak.
Yeah, not even undercharging.
So much
it,
damage.
Just nuking it out of existence. And Trevenant closes out with 1 point for Dodger fan 22.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, Toxicroak can do well in that, matchup with Trevenant if it has the energy advantage and or shield advantage. But unfortunately, House Dark just not able to get it into that precise position there in that game. So we do see in the next matchup here, Toxicroak from House Stark in the lead against Charjabug from Dodgers fan. This is a really interesting matchup. The Volt Switches do quite a bit, but Toxicroak can outpace to the Mud Bomb if they so choose. But Toxicroak from House Stark actually overloading quite a bit on energy there.
I'm intrigued what Dodger fans thought might be coming as the lead in this one, because the Charjabug really is only there for that Azumarill or that Dragonite. But House Stark calls it beautifully, gets his Toxicroak in there, gets that extra energy, finally gets a shield off his opponent, and he goes for the Mud Bomb here.
Yeah, I mean,
will it be effective enough to take it out? Nah.
No, the Mud Bomb is, I mean, it's neutral against Charjabug, and beep beep goes the bug bus. And I mean, can outpace here if it sticks to just those X scissors. But House Stark actually might not mind having this shield advantage here, because it means that this Sableye can get a lot of extra energy.
I don't like this play at all. Granted, nothing in House Stark's back line wants to see this Charjabug, and not an X scissor comes off. House Stark tapping right by that Azumarill just in case he does not like what he sees coming out, and it is the Azumarill there. And look at what you brought into existence again, Kaz. It's Azu on Azu.
But this time Sableye does have a return ready for this Azumarill as it comes in, and that lands for almost 50% of damage on Azumarill, which is no small feat in this game. And we see a catch of the, what I presume to be probably an Ice Beam. No, is actually the play rough onto their own Azumarill, but unfortunately it is Trevenant lurking in the back. Now, this Azumarill from House Dark does have the shield advantage here, so can overload on energy a bit to start stacking Ice Beams.
and Azu can take a C-Bomb. At this range, Azu can take a C-Bomb and still get to another Ice Beam. It does have to give up at least one shield here, maybe two. I believe Trevenant lives in Ice Beam as well. So it's going to come down. Maybe we're looking at a shield energy situation where there's a swap. And oh no! The Trevenant sneaks in another charge move, forcing the Azumarill to give up the final shield. That switch timer is going to be up a lot sooner now. And we'll find out how House Stark is going to play this out.
Yeah, I do think that Dodgers fan Azumarill left with a little bit of extra energy, maybe not quite a play rough. So actually the quick swap from House Stark allows the Sableye to get just a little bit of extra energy, and it is enough for him to get to the return. I believe at this health range, this might just be enough to even knock out the tanky Azumarill from Dodgers fan's side. Yes, down it goes. Wonderful play there from House Stark, recognizing that even though they might not have the alignment that they needed, the attacks there, their fast attacks and charge attack combinations allowed them to manipulate those matchups more in his favor. Well done.
Yeah, he played that beautifully. Same three Pokemon, just mixed up the lineup, came out strong, had a game plan, took the shield, saved two shields on the Sableye, and now it's Sableye into a Azumarill, and that's not what he wants, as that's going to be a tough one. He brought the Basti. This will be interesting. We haven't seen Polly. We haven't seen the Slash yet, so the Basti will be real interesting as the Sableye into the Azumarill does not want to see the first play rough, and House Stark really loves his Sableye. Is he a Sableye fan?
I mean, I know that Growlithe is his favorite Pokemon, but Sableye is a good second, I think, for anybody for their favorite Pokemon, because not only is it an adorable little gremlin, but in Pokemon Go PvP, it does have a really awesome attack set of Shadow Claw fast attack with the foul play and the return on the Purified Sable. And once again, we see the catch on to the House Stark's own Azumarill of Play Rough there, maintaining some energy on that Sableye, which is going to come in absolutely invaluable in the endgame, as we saw in the previous matchup.
As you saw, Dodger 22 fan try to return the catch favor. House Stark said, nah, got one extra bubble in there as the Volt Switch went through. And now he's about to get to another play rough, but here comes the first discharge, which should take Azumarill to the deep red.
I don't think the discharge is enough, and I do think that yes, there is enough health left on this Azumarill to throw another play rough, which will also get the Charge-a-Bug in the deep red. I mean, just again, despite what it says on paper, you know, that matchup of electric against a water type Pokemon isn't always as clean as you think it might be. And so Sableye comes back in and is able to get two Shadow Claw fast attacks in, knock out the Charge-a-Bug, and get even more energy onto this Pokemon. But Dodgers fan Azumarill did leave with quite a bit of energy, and yes, does have a play rough ready when it comes back onto the field.
Right, but there's a return ready on House Stark. So are we going shield for shield with one extra tap in there? Gets the Shadow Claw through. He could probably get to another return before that play rough comes off. That last play rough, we'll see if it's going to get shielded.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to get shielded. And in comes the Gliscor.
Oh, no.
And he is not going to want to see this Bastiodon in the back.
No, it's actually, with no shields left in play on House Dark side, it's actually the Bastiodon that does not want to see this Gliscor, because it could get to the Earthquake way faster than the Bastiodon can get to the two stone edges that it needs.
The Earthquake does do super effective damage, and look at that. You're right, there are no shields left, but look at what Rock Throw is doing, Kaz. Can it do enough? Can it take it out? It can. Oh no! So close.
Yeah, I mean, once again, there's still a shield in play for Dodgers fans. So unfortunately, the Bastiodon just needed way more energy than it could get to there. But Sableye and its shields there and energy advantage able to actually secure the end game for House Stark. I mean, really well played there to get those 2 points back in the end game. Great team adjustments and reads there from House Stark, as always.
Yeah, absolutely great from House Stark. Incredible, incredible battles all around. This matchup was so close. Like, Dodger fan, yeah, we saw.
I mean,
the
look at
Zeros
the
coming back, but
scoreboard.
they were making catches left and right. Like, they were coming down. Like, it literally, 2 matches came down to like 1 HP, which had to be an IV thing for the battler to still keep the switch or the alignment and get the charge move up, or take that shield, that Dragonair in game 2. So huge, this matchup. All of these battles were so great to watch all around.
I mean, look at the scoreboard. It's 8-7, 1 point difference after all of that. Just a constant back and forth between all of these incredible battlers, showing off once again. I think one of the strongest displayed skills here was the team reading ability that these players have, that these world-class level players have, is the ability to kind of like read what might be in the back and try and play towards that. And that's one of the strongest skills that you can develop in the Go Battle League and for competitive Show 6 Pick 3 play.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, they all throughout the entire
it just like overwhelms you, right?
Yeah,
sometimes like how precise it is.
Right, you watch these battles, you're like, okay, I can get the Toxicroak. I've seen you've seen these 30 Pokemon flying around from either side. But then again, just like in this last matchup, we've seen the Azumarill matchup. We'll have to figure it out. And they did exactly what we said. Yeah. They were making catches, playing with the energy, bouncing around it. It was all over the place. And it wasn't just that. Dragonairs, there were Manteens that were doing all sorts of stuff. Walreins coming out of left field. Cresselia soaking up energy. Like, it was so great around with all of these battlers. 8-7 as the SoCal Swablu win the first Paradox tournament here, and are all gonna go home with this lovely Paradox medallion there. It's all sent to
which has been pre-approved by Construction Hat Oshawott. Right. I have been told. Yes,
we've signed the documents right here, pre-approved. He's
wonderful.
Here. He made sure that the Area 0 was safe for all the battles. All of those epic earthquakes, those shadow balls that we're going through. We saw
everything is up to code. Yeah, everything up to code.
Making sure that we're up to code here, this man.
True.
Miss Kaz, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, it's been incredible. I mean, this set of battles, starting last Tuesday and ending tonight, has been so intense with every matchup. And I mean, it really just goes to show like the level of skill that comes from your team building here. Not only your team building of your 6 Pokemon, but like working with a team around you, right, to help you figure out what movesets to run, and how to play some of those closer matchups like the Azumir.
Yeah, as we've seen over the years, the factions really help grow you as a battler, made you introduce you to friends and other kind of battlers who are really just as excited and as passionate about it. And after we lost it at the end of season Sylph, like, au revoir. The Paradox here is there to keep your teams around, as there's other team formats out there, but to have that camaraderie, to be like, hey guys, my Pokemon is Whimsicott. I'm gonna be playing Whimsicott like crazy. Everybody will be like, all right, you play your Whimsicott, we'll help you build around it. What can we help you do? You need these Pokemon, you need some rare candies, you need practice battles. We'll help you with all of that. As you heard in the chat rooms from these players, they were talking about it, and it's just that camaraderie that you really love to see out of all 4 teams, not just SoCal Swablu and Legends Origins, including Antimatter and Muddy Water. These top-tier community team leaders have been nothing. We're just always talking to each other and just having a great time. And if you aren't on a team or are looking for a team, let us know. There are organizations out there. There are free agents Twitter groups that'll help you find a team and get you there and going. So we suggest team play is probably one of the best ways to grow as a battler in these kind of formats, these Show 6 Pick 3 formats.
Yeah, exactly. No one gets better just by themselves. I mean, I tried for a really long time before, and it just doesn't happen the same way. The community aspect is one of the best things about being, playing PvP in Pokemon Go. So yeah, if you've been watching these and loving these battles, then I highly encourage you to get out there and start talking to people and form your own team or find one that might be looking for an extra player, because it's one of the best ways to play this game.
Absolutely. And with that, we are going to congratulate the Swablu on an amazing run through the Paradox, battling Antimatter within 05. Remember, they started off 05 and came back 10-5 with 3 sweeps, and then put neck-to-neck work against Legends United here. World finalists, top 30 in the World Battlers.
They definitely have earned those medals that Construction Hat Oshawott has approved.
Yeah, they definitely did. So thank you to all the teams for joining us, and congratulations to the SoCal Swablu on an amazing run. Thank you, Miss Hurricane Kaz, for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, I enjoy casting with you so much, and these tournaments are never, ever disappointing.
No, they are not. We saw Pidgeot put work to steal Pokemon. Like, we're learning all sorts of new things.
Although, I just want to say before we go, still very disappointed that I did not actually see a Mega Evolution happen in Great League. Come on, everybody.
There was a Mega Sableye submitted at the beginning, but there was a Sableye as well, and a regular Sableye took it over Mega Sableye. Sorry.
Rude.
But there...
Next time,
for the next time, as the Paradox and us here over at Pokeball Network are closing it out. Thank you all for watching. May you have a wonderful Tuesday night, and like always,